Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Perth Blue Baggers pod. My name is Louis, your host.
I'm Marty on special comments.
In this episode, we'll be reviewing our loss to Port Adelaide and we will be previewing our round 21 clash against Collingwood. And we're doing this on a different setup this time, so there might be a bit of lag or the mic quality might be not be as good, so bear with us. So despite a blistering second quarter where we scored 7 goals, we were overrun in the second half. Charlie Curnow kicked 3 first half goals, but we were unable to arrest the momentum after leading the majority of the contest. So a few concerns coming in. So let's get into the coach's box segment. So
we it was quite interesting watching the different elements of this game. We looked really good early. I thought there was a fairly early for even first quarter where we could have taken opportunities, but we're down by a couple of points. Weren't too worried then. Our second quarter was clearly our best quarter by miles. We really got it together. We were linking up well. There was a lot of run and energy. Curnow was dominating, and you went into the halftime break with a fair bit of confidence. My goodness, the second half really fell away. I thought that we were lucky to probably still be in front actually at three-quarter time because they dominated a lot of the third quarter. But we still had a 10-point lead and there's still an opportunity for us to close it out. And normally our final quarters have been really good. This time we just completely ran out of run. That effort that we're famous for really dropped off. We didn't run back enough when we didn't have the ball. That's a common issue when we lose. That tends to be a problem. In terms of the strategy in the game, though, we're losing too many stoppages. We're not winning the clearances. We were fantastic in this area last year when we went on our massive run. We've got away with losing clearances and winning some matches this season. You can't get away with it too much. You rely very heavily on turnovers when you do that. But it's a reactive way to play where you're looking to your opposition to make mistakes. When you win clearances, you start dictating terms. And again, we lost the clearances quite markedly this time round. So that's just a really clear, obvious area which we need to work on. And the centre clearances were the worst, where we lost 13-6. Overall, we lost 43-33 in the overall clearances. That's a fairly sizable margin. It's a sign that we've got work to do in that area in particular. I did wonder too whether we went in too tall this time. We replaced 2 talls with 3. We're a bit top heavy, and I wonder whether we ran out of run. We did have a sub in Carroll, but he actually went on quickly to replace Cunningham, who unfortunately had another injury again. So we didn't have him to come on to replace anyone either. And I thought it was probably a bit of a tactical error, and I think we should go in a bit smaller this time.
Yep. Yeah, I got most of those same points. We also missed some opportunities in the final quarter, but I think the damage was already done. And there was only so much the defense could do, considering the extreme amount of entries coming in. So I reckon they actually held up well considering, and they didn't give up. So that was good to see. We lost territory, and also Harry Mackay's withdrawal. So lack of we tried to go in too tall to replace him.
That was our opportunity to bring in a small. That's what I reckon. We brought in Lewis Young, and Lewis Young's not a forward. So, I think and Curnow played pretty well with his 3 goals. But I think we would have, if we'd gone in with another true forward, probably a small forward, we would have been a bit nimble, a bit more mobile.
Yeah. And people were calling for Binns to come in, which after his good form, so maybe that could have made a difference. And then you'd also have to give credit to Port Adelaide. they always they applied great pressure in the second half, and that led to lots of intercepting. So that obviously gave them an advantage, and they were able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie Wines was particularly good. He was the leading possession giver on the field. He had 10 tackles as well. Yeah, he was pretty good.
Okay, I think we've covered that part. So our notable performances, so our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 votes. So I'll be doing the votes this time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change of scene. Over to you.
Yeah. So 5 votes, I have Charlie Curnow. He did step up in Mackay's absence by scoring 3 goals in the first half. He always had the Powers defense on edge, and also that's what gave him a few free kicks because they didn't know how to deal with him. And he was sometimes double teamed by Zert Thatcher and Aaliyah. So that's pretty impressive to be able to withstand those two and still get 3 goals. That's another thing Harry Mackay would have been useful for, because it means that Charlie Curnow might not get double teamed as often because someone else needs to be on Harry Mackay.
And just something on Curnow. Curnow was not only a key target for us in the first half, but he actually led our inside 50s for the game. So he's not only just becoming our main target, and that means that's really crucial for your structure. He actually leads a fair way up the field, wins the footy, and then drives it inside 50 for us. So he had one of those games where I think it was very influential.
Yep. He had 19 disposals, 19 of which were kicks, 3 goals, 9 marks, 3 contested marks, 8 score involvements, 6 inside 50s, as you were saying, 1 goal assist, and 547 metres gained, which is pretty good for a forward.
Yeah. And the score involvements was the top for our team.
Yep. So clear 5 votes, I reckon, there. 4 votes, Mitch McGovern. He held up the back line pretty well, considering the repeat entries, like I said before. And he still had quite a few notable defensive efforts. He had 17 disposals at 88% disposal efficiency, 4 tackles, 7 intercepts, 4 score involvements, 1 goal assist, 560 metres gained, and 9 rebound 50s. So that shows that he was really a rock in the back line there.
Yeah, we're a much better team when McGovern plays.
Yeah.
Because he's got footy smarts. He works out where the ball's going to go. He gets in there. He's a key intercept player for us. And he's generally his field kicking really good as well. So we tend to rebound much better when we've got Mitch McGovern and his partner in crime in Adam Sard playing.
Indeed. 3 votes, Jacob Weitering, just another defender who was rock solid. He doesn't need a rest. Some commentators were calling him that his corky needs a rest. But if he goes, we're cooked. So I don't think he can possibly rest unless he's actually injured.
Why would you rest him? I don't think
he's in good form.
Yeah, he's in good form. If he's injured, that's different. But if he's fit, you play him. And he's another player. I think we've talked about this before. He's probably more important to our structure than anyone else because he not only shuts down usually the opposition's best forward, but he's in everything. He's at all the contests. So McGovern and him, very important for the team.
Yeah. So it had 16 disposals, 6 marks, 7 intercepts, 5 rebound 50s, and 11 1%ers. Then we have 2 votes, Elijah Hollins. He was a standout player at quarter time. I think he had 11 disposals already. And then he just continues to prove himself as a great pickup. And he also tried very hard in the final quarter. he gathered 20 disposals, 6 marks, 4 tackles, and 7 score involvements.
If you just judged Elijah Holland purely on stats, he wouldn't come up a lot of the time. But that's because you probably haven't watched the game. You watch the game, he manages to pull out big moments. He's one of those players. I'd love to see him playing for us in the final because I just think he's made for finals, and he will pop up, and he loves the big stage. And there's been a couple of close games this year where he's really stood up in the last quarter. So great pickup, Elijah Holland.
Yep. There'll be some clutch moments coming for him. And then we have Kennedy for 1 vote. He made an impact on a scoreboard, again playing as in a offensive role. So he had 2 goals, 1 goal assist, and 9 score involvements to go with his 13 disposals and 5 marks.
I mean, Kennedy's one of those. He's one of those jack of all trades. He can fit multiple roles. I've seen him play. He plays a lot of footy in the centre, but I've seen him play forward. I've seen him play back. I've seen him go forward and kick goals. He's that robust body at the bottom of the pack. He does a bit of everything. So he's a real all-rounder. And I don't think we should be dropping him because he's one of those really important people. He's been pushed down to a sub once or twice and whatever, but he's one of those really important people that, when your structure's put out and you have an injury or something like that, he's the guy that you use to fix things up. So he gives the coach some weapons.
Indeed. So let's. Another thing that I just remembered. I didn't make mention of another key out, which was Tom de Koning. So that can go with the narrative around another structural problem that we haven't been able to work out. But I think Pitto still was pretty good.
We discussed this before. Pitnet is no TDK, and you can't really expect him to be because TDK is a unicorn. He not only is effective in the ruck, but he actually wins clearances himself, and he can go forward, and he's useful, really handy around the ground. So laying tackles and doing all sorts of things. So he can ruck and he can rove, and very few players can do that. So Pitnet's job is to do his job well, to get around the ground as much as he can to be a target. I thought it was okay. I mean, you're just going to lose something when you lose someone of the caliber of TDK.
Yeah. So we might as well make him underrated player of the match then.
Yeah, like I said.
Forgot about that one.
In a lot of other teams, he would be a walk-up starter in the 22.
Yeah. So let's get into the preview of round 21 versus Collingwood. Wow, this is going to be a big game. So we have Pendlebury's 400th game. Collingwood still have a bit of a chance of making finals still. They pretty much have to win all their games though. And they would love to beat a rival, especially to do it for one of their best ever players. So a lot riding on this game as always. And we must want and should get some revenge on this very annoying team. Best way to say it.
Huge game, really massive game. I would think we desperately need to get back in the winning thing. This is one of those situations like last year where we really lost our way, and it doesn't. When you lose your way and you're not in great form, it doesn't kind of really matter who you're playing, and you end up losing. And we haven't. Some of those teams have been very good teams, but Port hasn't been scintillating. Their form hasn't been great.
No.
North Melbourne gave us a real shake. They haven't been travelling that well. I think the Dogs are playing good football, but I think if you start playing badly, anyone can beat you. Conversely, when you're playing really well, everyone's throw them at us. So we've really got to find our form again, and Collingwood's the perfect team to do it against. We've got some work to do, and one of them, like I said, I'd like to see us go a little bit smaller. They don't have a lot of big forwards. anyway, Collingwood. Let's just go a little bit smaller so we get more run. I was worried about us running out of run last time, and I think we're a bit too heavy. And we don't have the run we mentioned from TDK with Pitnet. So I think that we've really got to make sure that we bring an extra small in. I'm one of those people that thinks Jackson Bin should get a run. I don't know what more he has to do in the twos to be given an opportunity. It seems that this would be a good opportunity for him. And you put him on a wing or coming off the bench, and I think he'd be very effective. And with Cunningham's injury, well, they need to bring someone in anyway. So I would think he's a good opportunity. McKay should certainly come back in because he's just ill. Akers was a test last week, so he should probably come back in. Jordan Boyd shouldn't be far away. And the other guy has played a bit of time now in the Magoos is Jack Martin. And when Jack Martin's up and about, I mean, he'll probably take a few games to get back to his real good form, but he is a bit of a wild card we've got if he comes back in and performs well.
Indeed. So no, I forgot to mention Akers before. So here's another person that we really needed on the weekend for some of that run. But if he wasn't 100%, then might just contribute to the same problem anyway.
Yeah, he needed to be fit. So it's no problem with leaving out someone who wasn't fit. But if you lose someone of the calibre of Akers and you put in Tools, he's our best runner. Him and Cottrell are our best runners on the team. So I'd like to see him come back in. And, I'd like to see one of our more of our running players come back into the team.
Yeah, agreed. So let's make a quick mention of who we should look out for on Collingwood.
Unfortunately, Nick Dacos. We got to shut down him. And I think Tin Cotter will probably go to him. But look, if the other mid step up, where our midfield's been probably a little bit down over the last month. I thought Sam Walsh wasn't too bad, actually. He did have quite a few tackles. He was particularly good in the first half on the weekend. But we really need a good all-round performance.
True. So something that Richmond didn't do against Collingwood was put a tag or any sort of defence on Nick Dacos until, I don't know, very late in the piece. So I don't think we'll make that same problem or mistake. So batching Cotter in to do his job on Nick Dacos, probably his biggest task in his career.
Oh, it'd be huge if he could shut down Nick Dacos. That would go a long way to helping us win the match. It's huge.
Then you also got the likes of probably Jordan De Goey to come back in. Pendlebury will probably be all hyped up on his 400th game. Also got Josh Dacos. He's moved to the back line. So see if he keeps that positional change. And then my check's still out, I think. Or might be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Collingwood are the same as a lot of teams. You put them under a lot of pressure by working really hard when you're off the ball, and they'll be fragile. Conversely, you don't put the pressure on, and Richmond have been unable to apply pressure over 4 quarters this season, which is why they got trounced today by Collingwood. But before then, Collingwood was not really doing very well at all.
Indeed. And then you also have Bobby Hill and Jamie Elliott. So that's why we need to have a smaller back line to deal with those two.
Oh, well, I think Jordan Boyd, if he's fit, he goes to one of them.
Yeah.
He's probably been he's probably our best small forward, although Cowan's come a long way too. So I'd imagine one of those, they're probably the two that would get those two.
Indeed. So your predictions?
Look, we're going to be bold and predict Carlton again. It's hard to probably tip them with a lot of confidence at the moment, but Carlton by 10.
Yep, I'll say Carlton by 18.
Okay, a bit more confidence than me. And then the Pies haven't been great lately, but neither of us.
No, it's time for a comeback to turn the somewhat form slump away. So, because we want to get some momentum going into finals, and we really need to get it done this week.
Big match. So looking forward to it. Should be great.
Thank you for watching episode 12 of the Perth Blue Baggers pod. If you have any thoughts, please comment below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. Thank you for watching. Up the Baggers.
Can the Blues.